Okay, let me call to order this meeting of the Planning Commission. We have all members in attendance, so we do have a order. Mayor Rock is out of town. I will be chairing the committee tonight. I am Taylor Ellis, the Mayor Pro Tem this week. Need a motion to adopt the agenda.
So
Moved, I need a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We need a motion for approval of the minutes of the March 11th, 2026 minutes. Do I hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
Okay. Second,
Second.
moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, agenda items, number A is Sunrise Estates rezone. Let me bring everybody up to date. Sunrise Estates is, we are petitioning to change them from a planned residential development to single-family residential. The planning timelines, the Planning Commission initial review of the application is tonight. 4/8/26, the Planning Commission revisits rezoning application concurrent with completeness and written notice. 4/22, Planning Commission shall have sent written notice before this date indicating application to move forward with it. And I think that's already been sent out, is that correct, Jamie?
They've
The
seen,
letters
yeah, we
to
sent out
everybody?
the application.
Okay. And 6/10, required Planning Commission will review and determine the recommendation. 7/22, required Planning Commission will determine a recommendation to the Town Council. And then on 8/11, Town Council will consider the recommendation. Any questions or comments in the timeline and what is being asked for the rezoning of Sunrise Mountain Estates? You're none? So can I get a motion to approve the timeline and consideration of the rezone?
well, I think I should recuse myself.
I understand that. Is there a motion?
Do we need a motion to just move the timeline forward? Or?
Let's play it safe and go ahead and do it. Do I hear a motion to
So-
approve?
so-
Okay, so moved?
Second.
Second? Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye, okay, that one is approved. Okay, Jamie, that's done. All right, next one is Mountain Estates annexation updates. Now, there's a draft annexation agreement and the agreement from the draft of something from the Planning Commission. And I've just lost mine. There it is. How would you like to move forward with this? Want to deal with the draft agreement from the Planning Commission first, or does anybody want to tackle the 18-page legal agreement? I'm open to suggestions at this point.
I have a question on the draft final determination.
Okay? Let's start with the draft final determination document then.
This was not put forward by this planning commission.
Okay?
And it runs through findings of fact, background, other findings, recommendations, conclusions of law that we are going to need to speak to. And these are basically is not, three is not issues we need to answer. Now that to me is like a true-false test. And I think there's more considerations that this council needs to make that are not summed up in three brief is not statements.
Okay?
Now, I know this is a draft and it's amendable, And so I would like to question how this comes to our is not votes.
Okay, I apologize because I have not saw this at the same time you did, and I don't know anything about the background. Does
I don't
anybody-
either, and I wonder, is this a standard document historically?
Okay. This came out, information I'm getting from the staff is that this was sent to the planning commission by your chair, Mayor Rock. And so I would assume this would be a potential starting point. And we can cut, not we, let me back out of that. You as the planning commission can cut this up and change it any way you see fit. So I would open the table to discussion from planning commission as to what you want to change, cut out, reduce, whatever you want to do with the document.
Well,
Speaking as somebody who has taught a legal class for quite a while, I think I would get rid of the conclusions in law.
I have pros and cons. And like everybody else here, I've worked diligently on these. Our developer has stated previously it needs to be win-win for both parties. And our developer offers as the win for us is town growth and increased tax revenue. And that the Star Valley Ranch's benefits appears to be the management of the subdivision through our ordinances. So that leads me to a question for my fellow commissioners, is that the 2018 annexation was submitted and subsequently denied. So my question is, have any of us identified any novel or compelling benefits to the town of Star Valley Ranch that weren't present in 2018? Jenny, that's kind of hard on you. I don't think you were around, but Kathy?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
I did not catch what you said. Would you say it again?
You want that again?
The question is that have you identified anything that has changed since the 2018 application for annexation on this property?
You know, the request?
Yeah, on the request for annexation. Were you on the planning commission, Deb? Planning and zoning?
I was on planning and zoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't exactly know what you're asking. I know there's some changes in the property and the planning for the property than before.
It's a much smaller number of residences. They've cut the
Also,
density down.
nobody wanted commercial out there, and I think that's been dropped.
Has.
It wasn't very well presented at the time, and we were not ready for that at all in terms of a town. We had nothing in the books on how to handle this. And no one wanted to do it. We had town meetings, and it was just, nobody was interested at the time.
Dolores, you were on the P and Z board at one time too.
So I'm agreeing with Kathy because it was actually thrown at us and it was like, you know, what do we do now? And we didn't have, like she said, we had nothing. We had nothing to go on or by, and people came in and said, well, this and this and this, and we're gonna do this, and all this kind of stuff, and there was a dispute over water and stuff like that, and I'm kind of with you, Kathy, I really don't know what to say even right now
So-
in terms of,
So basically, the
Situation.
takeaway is there have been substantial changes since the 2018 to answer.
Yeah, any new benefits cited?
not really. My question, and is it okay if I ask Dirk about this?
Go ahead.
What I would like to know from you is, you sat in here one evening, and you sat right over there, and you said, it's gotta be a win-win, but we can go ahead and we can do this without you. So my question is, for you now, is what changed from when you said, we can do this without you, to coming to us and asking us to annex you? What changed between then and now, out of curiosity? Just for my own personal benefit.
To make sure I understand your question, is the comment I made was I could do it.
Dirk, can you come up? I think you're gonna spend some time standing
I'm
behind.
just curious.
Call me now, Chair.
Well, the nice thing about it is there's some protection there, if somebody throws something.
There, that's a good
Yeah, be
point.
careful.
Good question. I guess to make sure I understand your question is to, what is the difference, or what is the pros and cons?
No, you sat up there and you said something about annexation has to be a win-win for both of us.
Uh-huh.
And then you kind of sat back in your chair and says, well, we can do this without you. And then things kind of just dropped there, nothing more was said. And then the next thing I know, or we know, you're asking for annexation. So I'm just wondering what happened between what you said there and what's happening now.
Okay, I don't know exactly what you're meaning, but I guess my point was that regardless if the town annexes us or not, that development will move forward. I think that's my point of statement. It was just going to move forward. And I thought, as a township, and I'm naive, I don't know the side of the town, and so I says it needs to be a win-win. And because it can't be lopsided. And that's my point, and still is my point, it needs to be a win-win. As I look at that, and Fred asked me that directly, that question, I actually was a little caught off guard, but now I've had more time to think about it. As a township, I think that it provides a lot of strength and growth for the future. Okay, in the future, we gotta look at the future. We don't look at just today, we gotta look at down the road. And by so doing, right now, there's no tax benefit for the town on that property right at the moment. None. There's not a penny out of it. But if it was to be incorporated into the town, you would gain revenue on rooftops, basically.
But how soon? But the problem is how soon will that happen?
It's future. Well, you have 2,200 lots. And how soon will you gain that revenue? It's when it comes. Rome wasn't built overnight. It's going to take time. But by so time, that is the future we're looking for, is it will provide. And by so doing, not only that, you're getting an infrastructure system at no cost. Your supply, your transmission lines of water, you're getting an upgraded system. You'll know where the lines are. You're not going to be guessing. You'll have that information. And that's going to be at no cost to the town. Now, I see that as a win. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just going from that.
I'd like to ask a question too in
Sure,
regards to,
absolutely.
no, it's the true motivation to annex, even though you have the green light to go ahead and move forward with your zoning. That's really the key question I would love an answer for.
Okay, Fred and honest, I don't want to be a water master. I don't. And so you have the infrastructure, you have the system set up as a township to water and monitor the water. Now, there's also another, does that answer your question? I don't want to be the water master. So
Right, yeah.
that would be the win for me.
Okay.
Right? That's my side of the win. And so that, just being upfront, that's primarily the reason.
Okay.
Did you get your answer?
Yeah, I think so. I just, it was just kind of that, we can do it without you. But here we are asking, you know, so I
wasn't trying to be arrogant about saying what we
No,
could do.
no, I'm not, you were
I was
arrogant.
just
I don't
trying
mean
to,
that.
I think, process, and a lot of this is learning. I'll be upfront. I'm a first-time go-around here, in a sense, okay? By so doing that, I think it's a win-win, okay? That's where I see the win-win. And it's not gonna be overnight, it's not gonna be tomorrow, but it will be down in the future, and it will be an enhanced, it'll be a strength to the township. Now, this town incorporated, you gained it. You gained the infrastructure at no cost. You literally did, because you incorporated to become a township. You didn't start from ground zero with 10 acres. You actually were blessed to get that. And so by so doing, you have an opportunity to increase and provide control of what can go there. That's another win. Because if you don't, I kind of have to create my own township in itself. I really don't have a desire to do that. But again, I'm financially committed to it, and I'm kind of at that crossroads point. And that's why we came to this point. Maybe that's where I'm saying, okay, I can do it, but now I'm coming into looking to see if it's an annexation and providing with the application.
So down the road, we're going to, and I might be all wet here too, but going down the road, we are going to end up paying for the maintenance of the roads in terms of snow and stuff like that. I mean,
Absolutely.
That's going to be a cost to the town.
Just as it is right now. Because down the road, you have that infrastructure cost currently.
Right.
So you're gaining, but because of the tax revenue, it is supported. It's not an out-of-pocket cost directly to the citizens of the town. It's the tax base that supports it, and that's where the improvement district becomes. If I'm not incorporated or not annexed in the town, it's an improvement district I become. Government collects the taxes. Water system is maintained by that. There's a lot of hoops I've got to go through, but that's initially, I'm its own town. And I don't think it would benefit, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't think it's a beneficial structure to have two towns, so a small teeny one to yours. And that's why I think as I'm looking at it, thinking that might be the wise thing is for future. And not only this property, I would think you'd be looking at others.
Okay, I'd like to,
Hold on just a second, let me go back to the one area that you talked about. Conclusions of law. Jamie, didn't you, when the application came in, did you have to certify that the proposed annexation is consistent with Wyoming statute? So that's already off the tables. And the first one, the proposed annexation, or is not consistent with the goals, objectives, that's not a law issue. Doesn't meet this piece up here. And the middle one, is it or is it not consistent with the standards and procedures? We're going to apply the ordinances as the town comes up. So my off-the-wall comment, and take it for what it's worth, which is zero, is conclusions of law are not conclusions of law. I just cut that completely. That would answer your...
yeah, that's very helpful. Like all of us, I've spent quite a bit of time on this. And I'd like to read what I've come up with as pros and cons. And I'd like to say these are my pros and cons. And I'm going to read the headers. I have supporting points for each. I won't go into those. I will if you ask. Okay, I think the challenge to Star Valley Ranch here is that we inherit an unqualified risk absorbed by the town with no guaranteed benefit. I know there's been a lot of talk about the stress and capacity of our water system, and I think that is very legitimate. Right now, the water fee revenue is an open question, and we are going to be paying, Star Valley Ranch are going to be paying in the future for necessary water system upgrades. One thing I think that absolutely needs to be determined is the fate of the existing well. And I've heard lots of talk about it, but I've never heard a drop dead date about when's this decision made. You know, we know that the northern landowner is asked to sign an easement, but hasn't. And so I'd like to make sure that that is complete before we move for an annexation. There is a revenue versus liability math. No one can predict when the adequate tax revenue will show up. I listened very carefully to Mr. Sherbel last meeting about his discussion concerning slow growth of subdivisions, annexations, and so forth. I think that is very important. If we annex this, we essentially have a perpetual commitment. Once annexed, we're going to be taking care of it for a long time. Now, de-annexation is possible, but it's not guaranteed. And I think there's a precedent risk that if we give this developer full access to our water, and we take over managing his roads, and he's out of a management burden, that would pretty much invite the next annexation request to expect the same thing. So I think precedents set here are very important. Now I'm going to give my thought out reasons to annex. The first is the core agreement is really controlled growth versus uncontrolled growth. And either one of those is going to have an immediate effect on the town of Star Valley Ranch. We've heard that this subdivision is going to be constructed regardless, and that's fine with me. But I guess the pertinent question there is whether Mountain Estates will be developed, not whether it'll be developed, but whether we have a seat at the table when it does. And it is more than next to us, Dirk, it's in the middle of us, because Star Valley Ranch goes on up that way.
That's true.
So it's, you know, it's right, it's here. The annexation is a mechanism that puts town ordinances, building standards, oversight authority in place. And without that, we watch from the outside. And that it's going to be built inside of the town of Star Valley Ranch one way or the other. It's a permanent feature here for us. And that's very important to consider. Now, it's a long-term obligation to annex, but so is living next to an unregulated subdivision. And I'm not saying unregulated. I know your HOA and so forth is going to regulate it. But the question there to me is which is more palatable? You know, what's better for us? Do we manage it or someone else manages it? So I like the idea of an annexation with teeth, acting in Star Valley Ranch's own interest. And I think declining the Mountain Estates annexation is not necessarily a safe choice for Star Valley Ranch. And that results in risks. Now, I know the water stress on our situation, our town, if we supply the water. Yeah, I can think of things that would stress our ability to deliver water. But it's not going to make any effect on the aquifer. Dirk's drilled into our aquifer. He has every right to do so. He has the proper permitting and so forth. I haven't seen the map, but there's probably 20 or 30 wells drilled into this aquifer in the surrounding area. So I'm not too worried.
Way small in that one.
Okay.
The
So-
county map looks like it. just hit with the dartboard.
So as far as the aquifer is concerned, the aquifer draw already exists. And annexation adds no new stress, really. If we annex in 5 years, put your finger on the amount of water used is going to be the same if we don't annex. The aquifer is going to be tapped for the water that is necessary. So we get some protective leverage with annexation. But up front, I think for Star Valley Ranch, I think it's very difficult because there's a whole lot of undefined heavy lifting that we're going to have to do. So with that, I've taken enough time. I'd be glad to have it further discussed.
Thank you, Fred. Rest of you,
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
For the well, because everyone is very concerned about the easement in the wellhead protection area, and you said that you can get a variance or you can re-drill the well, or you can leave it as is for the first phase and you're allowed to do that, right? I have that right? Those are the
Correct.
three. Have you considered doing the first two at all, at working toward the variance or re-drilling the well, just because it is such a concern for the town? and
Great
so many
question. I'm
people?
so thankful you brought that up. I've been waiting for this for a very long time.
Okay,
Okay, there's been misinformation,
Okay.
and false information that's been pressed around and grabbed as gospel, okay? Straight up facts, okay? The well is not in violation until I exceed a certain amount, which I clarified that in the last meeting. Secondly, that well, my first intent is to talk to Mary Aarons. Okay? If that is a no-go, if she has no interest, nothing, no design, that's fine. She owns that. She has that right. I'm not going to enforce myself on that. The next move would be then to A, apply for a variance. And let's say that goes south. The option is repunch the well, move it to 37 feet, boom, punch a new well.
and have you taken any steps to do?
Yes, I've actually called the well guy, got him on schedule so that we can actually, and I sat in the administrator's office and called him right there directly.
Okay.
So yes, yep. But again, false information has been passed around and it's been grasped upon and built upon and poorly done so without true facts. So I'm grateful for the question. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
When will that decision be made?
My first bridge to cross is with Mary Aarons. Knowing that direction right there tells me exactly which way I need to go.
We're looking at a decision point. Now I'm talking from town's perspective.
Okay.
Will that be prior to that decision point?
When is it?
Comment on that?
Right
I
ahead.
guess so. I was wondering when you was going to show
I've
up.
been watching it. Been doing well. So, the way I've seen these things handled is you will have an annexation agreement, just like a developer's agreement. In that annexation agreement, you're gonna say, these are the things we need to have done. And I don't know what all those might be. One of those obviously is the well. It needs to be solved, right? I don't know that, and that's the appropriate place to put that, is in the agreement, so that it has to be solved if the annexation occurs. If the annexation doesn't occur, then you guys aren't involved, Dirk has to solve it with the county. And it's already in their agreement, their developer's agreement, that it has to be solved for him to finish his development in the county. And so, I'm just saying, I think that's the vehicle. Timing on that would be,
Well,
you don't get annexed if we don't have
I understand
that
completely.
put together.
But what you have to understand from the town's perspective, is there's going to be a meeting on the 30th,
Correct.
and that is going to be a very hot topic at that meeting. So if we know what's going to happen, that would calm some residents down or fire them up one way or the other.
So what Dirk just indicated, those three
Right.
in steps, that would be, in my mind, what would be agreed to. Either solve it with the landowner,
Yeah.
if you're in the town, variance may not be an option, so there may only be two. You would agree. And so out of those 2 or 3 options, depending on where you're sitting, whether you're town or county, I think those are, the first one doesn't happen, the other one happens, and there has to be a specific timing.
Okay, now you just hit the key.
And I think you just need to decide what that timing is. But if you're not willing to annex, then it's a moot question.
Our specific timing is 2 weeks.
You
We-
want
we have-
you want it solved in 2 weeks?
We have to make a recommendation to the town council in 2 weeks.
But you can have a condition of approval that the well be solved
That-
in the annexation
Well,
agreement.
I'm kind of glad you mentioned that, because one of the motions that I've considered making is that Star Valley Ranch annexes the subdivision in as long as the annexation is held to the 17 county requirements with our ordinances on top. I like that for a lot of reasons, but I have done a lot of comparison, and I've come up with several places that the town and the county are in, agreement. I found quite a few places that the county has, the town of Star Valley Ranch does not have, or at least hasn't presented yet in an annexation approval. And I found some things that, the town is not in compliance with the 17. The county's conditions are really kind of technically deeper on some things, especially wastewater. It's detailed engineered standing. They have more on traffic. R15 considerations include bonds that the county doesn't have. Occupancy triggers, like the county says 6 bedrooms per house. And I don't know, do we have any limitation on that? What do we-
What do you mean by 6 bedrooms per house in the county?
That's maximum, isn't it?
Six, the county
Oh, that's right,
says
it was in there, wasn't
six, I'm sorry,
No, you're right, it had to do with the septic.
it actually
I had
says,
forgotten
yeah,
that
the county
condition.
says specifically 6-bedroom maximum per lot, no equivalent in the town's document. This directly limits septic wastewater loading.
It did, in the county, you're exactly right,
Yeah.
and the town does not have that in their ordinances.
So-
You're right, and that was specific to this development, by the way, that's not what I was picking up on, is that's not a typical county.
I could see
Regulation.
a hybrid motion, and I think I would like that for a precedent also, because further annexation requests down the road, our starting point would be, thank you for your submission, answer first how you'll deal with all the county requirements, then here are our requirements. I mean, I don't know if that can be done, but it seems like a good idea to me.
I mean, your recommendation to your council can be exactly that, as far as I know.
And that may be, I may make that exact motion in this body, but I'm like, oh,
Well, and I understand that, I understand
I'm
that.
not sure
but
what all comes out of here.
I think what you need to think about in any development is the conditions of approval. And those usually in an annexation would get to be part of that annexation agreement I was talking about. And so, yeah, there's gonna be some conditions that the town says, well, we need these things, or we don't approve it, we don't annex you. And that can all be in that agreement, and if it'll get satisfied, then all bets are off. We start all over, somewhere else, so.
Well, that,
Am I answering your question, I guess?
as well as these questions can be answered, yes.
Okay, all right, well, I can live with that.
I spent a lot of time
I can see that you have.
And I'm making every effort to think about it for a long time after I'm gone. You know,
Yeah, and as I said last meeting, I think I concur with many of the ones that you stated, because it's in the middle of the town. And in 2018, that was the reasoning that I used at the time, because in the state statutes, it has to be, forgetting the language in the state statutes, but it's the right thing to do for the town. If it's not, then you ought to just throw us out and we'll go on our way. But in this case, because it is surrounded, I mean, eventually, I think all of that will be town, personally. But tonight, or on the 30th, or whenever they make the vote in the council, that will be when they make that decision, obviously.
well,
The council's decision will be after that 30th. The reason I brought the 30th up is because that's the public meeting.
Okay, you're not having
Looking
first
at PR
reading at the
issues.
public meeting then, okay?
that's April 30th.
Yeah,
Is
so,
that correct?
Yep, April 30th.
Yeah. Okay.
so, yeah, your motion, it could be, we accept all of the county's requirements, plus here's some of our own, and then the developer has to look at that and say, yay or nay. I'm either in with you or I'm out, depending on your conditions.
Well, I'd again like to just, state that these pros and cons tonight come 100% from me. And I have
Understood.
not made a decision.
Fred, if I may, you should have received the draft annexation agreement. And some of these things are addressed in there. They're not quite complete. It's just a draft. But 4I does address the well. It does not have a date in there, but it does say this is a condition. So you're welcome to add anything you want to this draft. So,
Well,
or suggest anything.
I guess if we added everything that we could think of, then we probably wouldn't be missing anything. Or we would be missing something, but I think maybe adding everything that we could possibly add before it moves out of our commission might be a real good idea.
I would like the commission to focus on what the recommendation would be that you're going to send to the council at this point. Then we'll deal with the contractual agreement at some later point.
You'd like us to focus on that right here, right now? I got it, okay.
Yeah, well, you guys are scheduled to give us a recommendation on
Yeah.
the 8th.
Yeah.
So you're gonna need to start working on some kind of a draft or what you want to put into that recommendation to the council.
Here's one of the recommendations I have written. The first part would be just a prelude statement. If Mountain Estates is developed without annexation, Star Valley Ranch has no say in how it's built or maintained. Annexation changes that, and with Lincoln County's 17 final determination conditions of approval made enforceable by the town, Star Valley Ranch gains complete ordinance control over the development. So that would be my prelude. And I'm not sure I'm going to say this next time we meet, but I would move that the Planning Commission recommend to the Town Council that Mountain Estates be annexed with the condition that all Lincoln County final determination conditions of approval, numbers 1 through 17, be made enforceable by the town of Star Valley Ranch within the annexed area as a condition of the annex ordinance. That's one of my thoughts.
Open to discussion. What the rest of you think about it?
I think the county standards should be applied as long as they don't contradict ours.
I'm sorry, Jane?
As long as they don't contradict ours.
No, I have I've looked at that, and there are some that they have and some that we have, and some we're together on. So if we put them all together, we'd have a pretty good grasp on moving it forward. Now, you know, there's probably 17,000 things I haven't thought of. But I'm doing my best in the short term.
Only 17,000.
So are you saying that we need to make that decision this minute?
No.
We have till the 8th to really kind
Yeah.
of comply?
But you,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, you need to start talking about amongst yourselves and get to some kind of agreement in what you would like to recommend to the town council.
Okay, because I've been giving Mayor my suggestions as well, so, and I need to digest this a little bit more, because I do have other things I'd like to add as conditions.
What information can I provide for you
That's
to
the
help?
contract.
Is this a contract?
Yeah. This was the draft that had been sent out. I don't know from where.
Yeah, I read it,
And the other one you're looking at is
the actual,
the draft contract.
okay.
And if you saw my version of it, it's full of colors.
Okay.
Dolores?
Have we been getting any information from people in the community? Because my concern is that we are doing this, and there are many, many people that are not here.
There is a web page that the
Yeah,
town
but-
has. up there.
Yeah, you can do that, and you can put out a webpage, and you can ask, and you can do all that kind of stuff, but there's a lot of difference between that and having the community here to come in to be a part of.
And that's what's
public
going to
meeting.
happen on the 30th.
I know, but how many people, my concern is how many people are going to be here, because we're not getting a lot of information from people. I mean, I talk to my friends who are not here, and, you know, I just wondered who set all this timing up, because it's not good
Everything-
timing.
Everything
My
I've
opinion.
seen from the public
Okay.
has gone on the web page that's on the town. Does that make any sense?
Are you getting quite a few comments?
No.
That's-
Maybe one just popped up.
I would say 10 or up.
Yeah?
And Dolores, can I say something too? So every week I send out an email on the email that says, this is the website where all the information that is transparent to the town. And the link, they can click right on it. So every week they've been getting that, along with any other town council meetings or planning commission meetings or anything like that. So I'm sending that out, and it's constantly being updated on the website. So, and then we've allowed Zoom for anyone to get on Zoom if they want to make a comment. And I had one on, and then she left. But I've been trying to advertise as much as possible to get
I
out
know
to
you
the
have,
community.
and that's not my point, is that I just feel like this has been pushed and people aren't here, because people aren't, if they're like me, I mean, I can see that stuff, but I'm not any different probably than anybody else. It's kind of hard when you're typing, you can't say what you want to say, and without like being here. So but I'm just going to put that out
Good
there,
point.
my concern.
Yeah, I just got another one that popped up while we were talking.
So it's not that she hasn't done her job, because she has, I mean, I know.
No, it wasn't
that.
me. I was just like, I'm trying really hard to get everyone.
I know you are,
Right.
but that's not my concern. It's the fact that these people are not here, and I feel like we're pushing this, and I think we've done a disservice to them, but that's my opinion, again. My 2 cents.
The time frame is dictated by state statute. Once we
Yeah.
receive a petition, we have 180 days, so we've created these meetings need to happen to make it, so we can do that.
Okay,
within
that
180 days.
helps.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, that time period starts from the date Jamie certifies that it's that third one on the points of law. So, other comments? You want to think about it a little one?
John.
Okay. Kathy, any comment?
I just want to reiterate that the town has come a long, long way since the first time we looked at a big annexation. We were not prepared. at all. We didn't have documents, we didn't have anything in our rules. We were sort of thunderstruck by the whole idea that this now was on our plate. And so nobody knew what to do or knew how to do it. And plus there were a lot of people that were worried about it, didn't want to have it happen. This is a different time and a different town with different rules and a lot more information. I think that the whole process has been handled very well by the town. We have a lot of good information to work with. I think everything that Fred had to say and everybody else has to say is important. And it's a good place to go from as we reach the day that we make a decision.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Other comments?
Jamie or Trevor, the 15 recommendations or findings that are in this, how do those compare to the 17 in Lincoln County?
I've read the 17 multiple times, but not in the last 2 weeks.
That's
so
fine. Yeah.
I'd have to sit them side by side.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
Okay.
I think there's some similarities there, but I don't think they're all the same.
Do you know if it was like, if it comes directly from the county's findings? Or is it looked at, like, did the attorney look at them, or did you guys, the staff do this, or?
So, yes, basically, we've been researching and reviewing and gathering data. So these are not exactly the same. I mean, this, for example, it must comply with all town ordinances, all the construction, that's not the county's plan, obviously, but there's some that are different to be applicable to our ordinance. So
Okay.
this is input from staff, from attorney, from everyone, just all looking at it, so.
Good clarification. I don't think the attorney's seen that, have they?
No, but what I mean by that is some of the things we've discussed with our attorney were pulled out of court here. He has not reviewed this particular document.
Okay, okay. And then, this is for me. So we make the motion, and the motion includes a recommendation of this annexation agreement.
You don't have to make any motion tonight.
No, I know. It's the meeting when we make the motion.
Right.
It's gonna reference this annexation agreement, and then that's what begins, so if this is approved and signed, that's what begins this entire process. And then we enter into the specific subdivision agreements as, if this is approved, as the phases go on.
Correct. Yeah, what will end up happening is you'll make a recommendation to the town council. Town council will take the recommendation from this board, the other boards that are looking at it, the finance advisory board, water board, et cetera. And then we'll go to the public meeting, and then it's going to fall back on town commission to make the final decision as to where it is. The legal document is, treat that as a real rough draft at this point, because there are some substantial, let me rephrase that, there are some significant errors in that document. It was obviously written for a much bigger town in some cases than ours, and that's going to have to be worked out between the attorney and the town commissioners, town council, based upon the information we get from the various boards.
Is that worked out before you make a decision?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Because we would then end up making a decision. Dirk's got to take a look at the document as well and say, yeah, I want to agree with it, or no, I don't want to agree with it. So that's all got to be,
Yeah, I'm curious what you're reading, so but just FYI, I don't know anything what that letter is, so, yeah.
One quick question. The draft of the final determination. Well, maybe I don't have a question. Oh, yeah. After when we get to the back, the last thing is this can be tabled. But I'm not sure it can be tabled. Aren't we held to what the state directs?
It can be tabled based upon the agreement of both parties and some factual issues that have to be resolved.
Okay, then if it is tabled, would it be tabled to a date? And during that interim, are we allowed to continue talking
It
about
would be
this?
tabled based upon some pieces would have to be resolved, and there would be a date at which it would have to be resolved by. And then that would be between, all right, let's take an off-the-wall example. And don't hold me to this. The well is a major issue that pops up. We could end up saying, okay, the well has not been resolved at this point, we'll table the decision on annexation until July 1, and which time we will have the well resolved one way or another. And then that then falls on dirt to do it, and given that, then we would be
Yeah.
annexing. And ignore that example completely, other than just giving you something to think about.
And if it is, we will make a recommendation to you. And if you table it, then it's out of our hands?
Yes.
Okay,
You guys get away from this once you make your recommendation,
okay.
because it moves up the chain. Does that help?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Other comments or issues? Okay, then I guess the next question that comes up, you are, let's see, I have to look at my calendar. We got what, 2 weeks?
2 weeks from today.
How do you want to proceed to put your recommendation together? I'm assuming you have, 2 weeks is your next meeting, correct?
And that's the.
Okay, so how do you want to put this together in the 2 weeks between this meeting and the decision meeting? Because there's going to be some document here, and I'm assuming that you're not going to walk in and all agree on the same thing in one really long meeting.
Would you recommend that we would submit this over to the mayor, all of our other questions, or do we?
I mean, I'm going to leave that one up to you. As what are you comfortable doing? Are you comfortable, each one of you, all 5 of you, making a recommendation to the mayor and waiting for the mayor to consolidate and summarize that and bring it back to you on the 8th? Or I'm assuming even if that happens, there's going to be changes made to it, or do you really want to wait until that point to do it?
I think we should meet.
I wouldn't be adverse to having like town council has, like having a working meeting that has to be done in public. I would love to have these tables squared up where we're talking to each other and, see where we're at. That's up to I'm good with that. I would like that. How would everybody else feel about that?
I'd like that too.
You'd like that?
You got 2, I got 3. Okay. When do you want that meeting?
Maybe a week from tonight to think about it? Does that work? Master calendar person?
So it'll be the first.
I assume night is best for Jenny.
Yeah, flying
We-
in. I'm flying in that day, so I'll be here.
I think first works.
First works?
Yeah, if anything.
Kathy, does the first work for you?
Will the mayor be here?
Yes, she'll be back.
Mayor will be back. So you don't have to put up with me.
5:30, is that what you guys are wanting, same time?
You want 5:30 on Hey, no way, all Fools Day. No.
That's funny, I already have it scheduled. So, here we are.
That work? Okay, so we got a plan in place. You're all comfortable with it. All right.
Thank you, because I think that's really important.
Okay. I would agree with it. Any other issues? I would encourage you to take, you have received a draft of what the attorney wrote. Keep in mind that it is nothing more than a draft, that you may want to pull some ideas out of it or not. And I can tell you right now that there are some errors in it. So don't get too carried away with it. It's an 18-page document. We gave you a copy tonight. Anything else that you want to deal with on Mountain Estates annexation tonight? Hearing nothing, I will move on. Public comments? Got public out there? Anybody want to make some comments? Come on up and give us your name and...
My name is Tom Merrick. I live at 322 Dogwood Drive. Been here for 9 years. I've got 15 years' experience in a large city. And tonight I'd like to make a comment about risk management, which is a procedure that a lot of organizations, not just cities, use to make decisions. But before I do that, I'd like to thank the folks for putting all the information on the website. The only problem is I didn't see the draft annex agreement, and I assume that's not my prerogative until we have a public meeting. But when that happens, I don't have time really to do any research or to form an opinion, because it's going to be presented and then we express our opinions. One question, the meeting on the 1st, that is with the Planning Commission?
That will be the Planning Commission. Now, you will have, the Planning Commission will make a recommendation to the Town Council on the 8th, and once that recommendation is made, it will go on that website.
And all the other boards, the same thing?
As soon as they get them in, yes, they will go out.
And we expect that to be by the middle of the month?
I know that the water board's working on theirs right now. I haven't received it yet.
Okay.
And the Finance Board should have be almost complete, if not completed, right?
Yeah, that's where you understand it.
And the City Council is meeting on the 30th?
No, that will be a public meeting.
That'll be a public
Council
meeting.
will be here to hear everything from the
Okay.
residents of the town.
All right. Then let me just quickly go back and talk about the risk management. It's a very esoteric philosophy, I guess. It's very complex, but basically it boils down to choices. Now, if I'm going to buy a new pickup truck, if I have to decide between being red or blue, it doesn't really make a lot of difference. It's not a monumental decision. But if I have to make a decision whether to undergo experimental heart surgery, that's a little different choice. And it deserves a little more consideration. And my comment tonight is along that, making a choice. And it seems to me that every board, commission, and the city council have to consider the permanence of their decision.
Yes.
And with that come all the unknowns that exist and will exist in the future.
Yep. Thank you very much. Appreciate your comments. Are there other comments from the public? Seeing none, move on to discussion items, other matters from the county commission. Got everything taken care of there? Okay. Items to be turned over to the town council. I don't think there's any at this point. We're getting ready for that one. Okay. And the action for your next meeting, you're all going to go back through the documents, come prepared with some kind of a draft by the 1st. I'm correct? All right, so that one's out of the way. So now I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Moved, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.